Welcome to my AGDQ 2020 Ahead in Time submission. This will be the All Time Pieces All DLC category. Before we get started, I just want to make the quick note that this is a difficult run. I cannot commentate and talk and play at the same time. I can barely commentate in the first place apparently. So there are going to be multiple times where I just have to focus on playing and not making mistakes. I will do my best right now to say as much as I can, but there's only so much I can do. At the live event, there will be a couch who will be in charge of commentating while I can just focus on playing and making small comments, which will be a lot easier for me, but I'm going to do the best I can right now. So let's get started. So first things first, I'm going to get more into this later, but there's an issue with the timer, so in order to fix it, we just go to main menu once, and timer starts on this file select, which will be in 3, 2, 1, go. So the timer on the left will be timing RTA, hoping to keep the estimate 215, 217, but that depends on my loads. I still need to check how much I actually lose to other people on those and what's it could be. But I think 215, 217 is going to be a good estimate. And obviously the timer on top is going to be the in-game time. So here in this first level, we're just going to be grabbing 2 yarn as fast as we can so we can make our sprint hat, because sprinting is fast. Check out those 2 yarn right there, the one in the chest and the one behind the crates. Now we can sprint. Going to be collecting these 5 pawns so we can go into a different level. And 1 down, 55 to go. So right here, we're going to be using this emote to cancel our animations so we can start moving again faster. And you'll see here, we're going to Act 3 instead of Act 2 right now. It's just because this act has a lot more collectibles we're going to use to speed up Act 2. So even though we had to collect the 5 additional pawns in Act 1, it's still worth it to get. And the item I just collected is called a relic. We're going to be collecting 18 of those throughout the run, and they're needed to unlock certain levels. I'll explain more about that when we get there. For now, we're just collecting some tickets to open this vault. Said vault has yarn and pawns in it. Going to just make way over to more yarn. We're in the mud right here just because we need to scare Mafia guy at the end of the level. Just coming up right around here. So this next part is basically an auto-scroller. We're just going to be following this guy around. So I want to take this moment to talk about the movement techniques we have with the sprint hat, because I'm going to be using them all over the place, and I want to explain them as early as I can. First one is a sprint double jump, or an STJ. That's where you release sprint and jump immediately, so you can have sprinting speed in a double jump. It gives you a little extra space, a little extra distance. The other one, the most appropriately named double sprint jump. It's not confusing. I promise you. I've been at this for a while. Not confusing. The double sprint jump, or DSJs, is just when you basically just spam jump off an edge, and you can just go a little bit higher, a little bit faster. You'll see me go for those on most ledges just because it's fast. And this is one more, but I'm gonna explain that one later because it's not as useful. That's a very niche situation to use it. So right here, we're gonna see an immediate use for that hat we just made. Gonna break that box so we can get this relic here. This box has a lot of pawns in it. We won't like that. We need a lot of pawns this run. Another relic here, and because we need so many pawns, we're going to be collecting some of these as well. I think the exact number we need is 1,435, although I'm not 100% on that. I know numbers are around there. All I know is that we're going to be pawn farming for about 50 seconds to a minute to make sure we have enough. So, just using the brewer a little bit more, making sure these Mafia guys die. And right here is a another auto scroller. Fun, I know. I like spending this time just dancing. Because I mean, what else are you supposed to be doing in this moment? It's not like there's any barrels to dodge or anything, right? I think dancing is a good thing to do here. Now, this would be a good time for like a donation or two. There's nothing we can do to speed this up. It'll be a great day if there ever is. But until then, this is what I do to pass the time. So, right here, just gotta kill this last Mafia guy. Sometimes he can just like hurl himself at you and he'll hit you. And I kind of thought he was going to, which is why I sort of stopped hitting him. I thought he hit me. But he didn't, so we're all good. Coming up after this is a cutscene that we don't care about. And because we don't need to watch it, we're just going to go back to hub and sort of skip it. Alright, now we're going to the first boss of the run. There are 5 bosses, I think. I actually haven't. I think there's 5 bosses. And so they're scattered throughout the run. A couple here. Gonna be more in like half an hour, and so on. This one actually has a little bit of movement to get. Most of the other ones are just you spawn out the boss. And this is actually where the run starts getting different from traditional like any percent. And that's just because I don't know the exact reason. I think the biggest reason is that there's not as many people running this, and everyone who is okay with it. But we have bow kit strats. Some people don't like the idea of just spawning a character in a solo run, but because it only saves a minute or so in any percent. People are like, no, let's not do it. We save well over 5 minutes here. We save a minute in a single level, so I don't see a reason not to use it. It's fast, so I'll be using those throughout the run. And that's one of the things I like the most about this, because you don't see those too often, and there are some really cool strats with that. There are some not so cool strats that I do anyways, because they're just fast, but a lot of the strats are just really cool. So this is Mafia boss. He's annoying. He doesn't have a lot of RNG. It's 15 seconds at the most. It's so early in the run that it feels worse than it is sometimes. The RNG comes from like the times where he'll do something that you can't attack him from. So there's 2 different things he can do. One is a scream and one is a sandbag attack. That's his scream and that's a sandbag attack right here. Each additional scream is a 1.5 seconds or so. Each additional sandbag is about 6 seconds, 6 to 7. He's guaranteed to do 2 screams. He's guaranteed to do 2 sandbags. We just want him to not do more than that. So this quick kill right here was possible solo, but they patched it, so now that's how we get around doing it. There's a different way to do it, any percent, but this way's easier and faster. It's a little complicated to explain, so I don't want to go into how it works though. Sorry, I felt like I was going to burp for a second. I'm trying to say something, but I'm struggling. Alright, better. Sorry about that. So next we're going to be doing the first time rift of the run. These are heavily inspired by the Super Mario Sunshine secrets. You'll see as soon as we spawn in, it's heavily inspired. And pretty much all of these time rifts are cycle based. They all have some sort of moving platform that you have to make. This first one's not too bad, but some of them are pretty close. So, after each time rift, there will be a roulette wheel, and it's cool and all. You get cosmetics, some really cool cosmetics, but the cosmetics don't make you go faster, unfortunately. So we're just gonna skip them and spend the entire run as default hat kid with the default sprint hat. Alright, so if you remember when we did the second level of the run, and we got that yarn from that vault, we gotta collect the tickets. Well, this is basically that, except on a larger scale. There's only 4 tickets, but they're spread throughout the entirety of Mafia Town. Didn't want to land on the tightrope. So, at this third ticket, we can actually do something cool with Bokid. I think this will work. Yeah. If you just stand there, the reason I think is because the game has nowhere to put Bokid, so they just spawn her at the like normal spawn point. Well, I'm not 100% sure if that's the reason. But whatever it is, we just spawn Bokid there, and we get the and we just go to the beginning, which lets us get the 4th ticket really fast, and lets us go back to the vault to get the timepiece really fast. It's very convenient. Okay, so there's a technique we have. It's called stuck warp. This is where we're gonna use it 2 or 3 times throughout the run. This is the main time we're gonna use it. Basically, it just manipulates how the game handles soft locking. If you're ever in a position where the game thinks you have no control, where you can't move, then it's gonna teleport you back to what it considers your last safe position. Not all objects count as safe positions, and therefore won't update that location. So everything I just stood on as Hat Kid did not update my save position. So when I got stuck, it teleports me all the way back to the beginning. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. Not because we're going to be far away this time, just because we're going to be very low and we don't like climbing. Climbing tends to be slow. And now we're just gonna get these last 2 faucets. I was expecting to take damage right there. I am not complaining. So I'm just gonna do a quick damage warp. Just a damage boost is the word I was looking for. To just get up this faucet because it's really slow to go around the safe way. And we're done with heating up Mafia Town. And this is actually all we're going to be doing with Mafia Town for this trip. We'll be back here later, 2 different times. But for now, this is all we're doing. It's actually pretty good heating up Mafia Town. 139 is a good time with 2 relics for me. Alright, so next up we're going to SUBCON Forest. Once again, we're going to cancel our animation so we can move sooner. We're going to enter through contractual obligations, so we don't really have a choice. We're actually not going to do this level. The reason for that is because there's a long 50-second cutscene right in front of us, and there is no good way around it. So we're just gonna go through this wall instead. So what I'm doing here is I'm just grabbing these paintings. Damn it. And this will bring down a firewall like the one Hackett's standing in front of right now, just on the other side of the path. Grabbing this yarn right here. If you dive between the well and that tree, it's something with just like some weird geometry and it just sends you flying. Grabbing relic up here. This is similar to what we did in Golden Vault. We're going to be spawning Bokid where there is no place for her to spawn, so she's going to go to the main spawn point. It just happens to be at the top of the well, and lets us get out of this room with that button right there. And that button's pretty slow. Just gonna be heading up here. Alright. Just gonna try and buffer dive out. You can buffer or you can spam it. I like spamming because it makes me feel like I'm doing something. It just lets you dive before you can actually like begin moving again. Get a little bit more distance in. Alright, so next we're going to be doing, actually doing contractual obligations this time. Because now we have the left firewall gone. That's what we did right after we clipped through. So I'm trying to grab some pawns, and we're going to go around the volume for our 50-second cutscene. And there. I just want to focus for a second. What we're trying to do now is just get rid of the other firewall, because getting rid of that firewall is what gives us this timepiece. And I'm just trying to hit a relic cycle. It's a little difficult, so I want to try and do it, and then I'll explain it. Alright, so truthfully, I don't know if this is a... Oops, ran past it. I don't know if this is a cycle, but it feels like it is. That's pretty inconsistent in the end. However, even on a slower time like this one, it's still faster than the other options. So, I still go for it. But truthfully, like, saying that's on a cycle is not accurate, because we don't know why you even get that in the first place. So here we're just signing a contract. All of these contracts are just unlocks for a different act in SUBCON Forest. You only actually need to collect 2 contracts to complete every level in SUBCON, so that's all we'll be getting. The one we got now is mail delivery service, or basically just being mailman, or mailwoman technically. Mail girl? We're delivering mail, like the level says. And it's going to show off. You probably could have figured it out from heating up, but the main reason we started like looking for Bokid strats, because you can use her to stop prevent backtracking. Spawn her in here. Ah, cool. I thought I missed a guy. Didn't think I was gonna hit that tree. Cool. Taking care of use of some downtime. Getting our second contract and finishing the level. So more did go down than what I said. Like I said, I do have to focus on this sometimes, so I can't explain as much as I wish I could. But alright, so next we have one of the only like main boss fight, like a major boss fight that isn't the finale. In fact, I think this is the only official boss fight that isn't the finale. Got a lot of speed from that. Why'd you have to block me, Dweller? Oops. Sometimes missing a dive boost can be a little more costly than the the half a second from not getting speed from dive boost. So this used to be one of my worst parts of the run, or not worst parts, but inconsistent parts, because it's either you get it or you don't. The quick kill for this level. But we recently found a pretty good strat. It's very consistent. So I'm gonna hope I don't mess it up. It's very likely I'm still gonna mess it up. But at least now I feel consistent. So these cherries in here, they're RNG where they spawn. What I just got there was it wasn't worse RNG, I've gotten worse, but it was still bad RNG. But it's never more than like 2 seconds, so it's not something you really get mad about. Alright, so here's the quick kill. That was late. Yeah, okay, I wanted to hold forward a lot sooner. That's fine. Just because it's consistent doesn't mean that I'm perfect at it yet. This is still a hard fight for me, but I'm more likely to get the quick kill now than I was like a week ago. What I just did there was I just paused and unpaused right before the contract showed up, and that lets me move around with the contract open. That way I can go back to help like I did with mail delivery service. Why it works is a little complicated, but it works, so that's all that's important. We're just going to be doing the one last act in SUBCON, not counting the finale obviously. And this one we actually don't need a contract for, so we're sort of just going to head to it. And here's supposed to be some like puzzle type platforming. However, that's kind of slow, and as much as I do love puzzles, they're slow. So we're gonna skip them. Alright, and here's the manor, because this level is Queen Vanessa's manor. So, naturally, because I'm sure everybody has this in their basement, we're going to be going through a hole, and it's going to lead directly to the attic. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is commonplace. I'm pretty sure everybody has one of these. And if you don't, I don't know what you're doing. So, let me just go over that whole sequence of events one more time, because that's probably a little confusing. First, when we crawled through that hole, that was put in by the devs after the beta, because the people who were running the beta, they just spent so much time looking for a skip for this and never found one, so the devs decided to put one in for us. After that, we jumped on a door frame to jump over a cutscene, where we then jumped on a candle to get onto the chandelier to grab an additional relic. Real quick, we're going to be doing now the time riffs for SUBCON. This one's a fairly straightforward one. So this is the main cycle for this rift, these 3 gears. Well, I guess technically 2 because we're skipping that one completely. There is a cool strat you can do if you hit a really fast cycle on that rotating thing, block. But I'm not good at that strat, so I don't do it. I'm also just never fast enough to actually go for it. And yeah, that's the pipe rift. So this is another time rift, so another roulette, another back to hub. Alright, so we're going to be getting a lot of different collectibles on the way to this rift actually. The first thing we're going to be getting is a yarn. We're going to go straight into a relic from there. And we're actually going to collect a badge after that. As of right now, the only badge we have is the hookshot badge that we got during SUBCON Well. That was the first level we did in this chapter. We're actually going to get a second one. But instead of getting it from a badge seller like you get most badges, we're going to get it from the floor. Someone must have thrown it away or something, and it's just sort of sitting there. So, I mean, we'll pick it up. We may as well, right? So, I honestly don't know why that magnet's in that bush right there. I can't tell you the reason for that. I don't know it. All I do know is that it's actually inconsistent and it's really annoying. There's something to do with the bad collision with the floor. Sometimes it just won't spawn. It usually does. It's pretty rare that it doesn't, but it can happen. I held S instead of W, so I went backwards and couldn't make the cycle I wanted. This is one of the least heavy cycles in the all the time rifts, so it's not really too important, but slight inconvenience. Alright, now we're going to be doing the finale. This is going to be the boss fight against Snatcher himself. And it's basically another auto-scroller. Used to be like a good level, and then they patched our quick kill. So now we're trying to sit here for about a minute. At least now I get to listen to more of this song. One of the best songs in the game, so I'm just going to listen to it for this fight. There's not really much to talk about anyways. Alright, naturally, right, we got to the good part of the song and we finished the fight. I think that makes sense. So, technically what was supposed to happen was, casually in the fight, you're supposed to just, you know, hit him once every once in a while. But he has a hitbox sticking out. And because we can hit him as soon as he turns blue, we just go to that hitbox and we just sort of kill him right away. On older patches, we were able to hit him and speed up the point where he turns blue, but now we can't do anything, so we just sit there. I'm going to be mashing on both controller and my mouse here, just because a couple extra inputs. I need a bit faster. Alright, so we actually have one more level to do in SUBCON before we finish it. This is going to be the level that requires those relics that we've been collecting this entire time. So we're just going to do this real quick. Pawns are right here, we may as well get them. And I want to get this. I am always a fan of hitting Rimby. Rimby kills so many runs. I don't know if I shut my mic, I'm sorry. Alright, anyway, so what we just did was we made a relic. We made the specific relic that is for SUBCON. And we're now going to be heading over to this last level. I'm going to explain more about it once we get there. But for now, just enjoy this mushroom strat. You can do a tiny bit more with that. It's a lot harder to do more than that. Because you have to jump really early to make the next mushroom. Angles are hard. There we go. Sorry about that silence. I felt a sneeze coming. Alright, and here we are at Sleepy SUBCON. A little bit slower than I would like, but I mean, it's not like anything went majorly wrong, so. Alright, so for these purple rifts, that's every level you make from a relic is a purple rift. They're all divided to a certain amount of these like little floors, and in order to move on, you have to have a certain enough of these rift pawns. It's different per floor. So we're just going to be running around collecting as many as we need. Sometimes enemies will be holding them, sometimes they'll just be standing there. A lot of enemies carry them in this one. So Sleepy is fairly simple, we're just running through. Because we put magnet on in the first room, that was what I did when I paused. We were able to get that one from inside the bucket just by running past it. Alright, and here we are in the final room. The timepiece is in this ball. And it also happens to have a lot of pawns. And this is the biggest reason we get magnet. It becomes so much quicker to get all those pawns once you have magnet. And because this is still a time rift, there's still a roulette, so we still have to go back to hub. And now we're done with SUBCON. Next we're moving on to ALPINE SKYLINE. And just warning, this is one of the hardest parts of the run. So if there's anywhere I'm going to be skipping explaining stuff to focus, it's going to be here. I just have to turn off skip cutscenes, otherwise it's going to be a soft lock. And what we just got there was a another relic. Fortunately, Cooking Cat is the only place to get that relic. Alright, and here we are in ALPINE SKYLINE. Because this is free roam, we're actually not going to be going back to hub too much. We're just going to respawn in ALPINE every time we get a timepiece. But first we have to actually get there. This is actually just like an intro island. We're just going to do a little skip right here with the fence. I don't know why that happens sometimes. Okay, I was just not high enough there. This is not going well. May as well have just ran around casually at that point. I was trying to say we just do we were just jumped on that fence to avoid ringing the bell, having that gate open, and then running all the way around the spiral. From here, it's actually faster as soon as this cutscene is over. Well, not once this cutscene is over, but once we hit this loading zone right there, that's when we're officially in Alpine. So it's faster to just go back to hub and reload the level than to continue watching. Alright, here we go. So the main theme of Alpine, aside from being free roam obviously, are these, damn it, there we go, are zip lines. And in order to activate these zip lines, you have to blow horns. And each horn is a bit out of the way, so we're going to be doing some cool stuff to get to these horns. So basically what I just did was I just turned activated co-op once I was on a zipline, which means Spokid is not on a zipline. And I can then take a second zipline, and they switch places at the end of the zipline as long as they're both done with it. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a little complicated, but basically just a way to have them get on separate islands, which is otherwise not possible. If you ever see me do fast menuing, then you can just assume I'm putting on or taking off hookshot for magnet. Alright, so here we are. Spokid is at the first horn island. Trying to be doing this real quick. So there isn't actually anything I can do with that kid right now, just because I can't play without a free hand. And I can't exactly play a character with one hand either, so stuck just standing still until we're done. This naturally saves more time in co-op where you have two people playing, but it still saves a tiny bit of time when you're playing solo. This is the last tower we're going to actually make for the run. We will be obtaining one more. I'll explain more about how we're going to get that later. But that just means we're done with the yarn for the run. I've actually already collected everything we need. Alright, so I just took off my hookshot right there so we can skip a cutscene. Unfortunately, that means that I don't have a checkpoint right now, so if I die, I go way far back. So let's just not die. Speaking of not dying, I'm going to jump into the lava right now. So as long as you stay on the border of where the lava is, you actually don't take damage, and yet you continue to like get bounced up. So you can do that to just skip entire floors. I think I can make it. I'm not gonna lie, that was a little scary, but it worked, so I'm not complaining. Yeah, that last one can be a little difficult. If you don't go forward like the entire time, you might not make it, and would have to rely on the those pillars, which at least feel like RNG sometimes. So we just did Lava Cake. Now we're gonna head over to Birdhouse. This is the level we just blew the horn for, so we actually don't have to worry about that. If we were to do this, you know, normally like you'll see in other runs, you'd have to go to the right and blow that horn, then come back here, and then come here and take this left. This left right away. We're gonna skip blowing up that box and taking the ladder, because ladders are also slow. And here's gonna be the last movement tech that I kind of avoided explaining until now, TSJ, or a triple jump, depending on who you ask. And it was what I did off that bush. It's a bit late now. I'll be doing one more in a moment, I'll point it out then. But basically it just gives us a little bit extra height. It's a little, no, it's complicated to explain more than that. The inputs are complicated, the reason it works is complicated, everything about them is complicated. So we're doing another one right here. We wanted to do another one right there, but I messed up. So, for birdhouse, you're supposed to blow a horn and take this zipline right here. But we're just gonna do a sprint double jump across on that fence that we did and get our timepiece. Fun story, you can actually do a dive boost under that timepiece and fall off the edge. I've done it before and I was very sad. So we have another horn to blow, so we're gonna do that real quick. And naturally that means we're doing this. Because why wouldn't we? Sorry, before the second DLC came out, I was doing this run, with just the first one. It felt so much harder to grab that zipline. I don't know if they changed anything or if I've just gotten better, but it's so much better. It feels so much nicer now. There's not really much to say about this one. Just gotta climb all the way up. Right there, that's just this volume that brings you up a little, sends you a little bit further. I don't know why it works, to be honest. It just does. Forgot where I was going for half a second. Alright, so in this level, Twilight Bell is actually a pretty broken level. There's a lot of overlapping volumes and things like that that you can exploit to do some really cool stuff. We're actually not going to be showing much of how Twilight Bell is broken. Instead, we're going to be showing how the ice hat is broken. And a little bit of Twilight Bell. So by falling off here, you get sent a little bit further in the level. That island right in front of me is where we would normally spawn. So we're just a little bit closer. Gonna make use of the fact that water restores your double jump and jump off a waterfall, because that is something that happens. And this is one reason why the ice hat's broken. Excuse me? I don't know. I should be waiting to use the hat wheel, but this is still a sort of new strat, so I sort of just instantly press it like right away. So it's a little bit slower, but it still gets the job done. Alright, so this is, at least currently, my most inconsistent level. Not because it's necessarily hard or anything, I just struggle with it. I don't tend to struggle till about the end, so hopefully the beginning goes well. I actually really do love this level. It's a really cool level. I'm just inconsistent at it. Alright, another TSJ right there. The ones off the bush are really hard because you need to jump at the edge of whatever you're jumping off of, and it's just so hard to see like where the edge of the bush is. It's not accurate to the design. So I took my hook shot off right there, not to skip a cutscene like we've been doing at every main island, but just to skip the checkpoint so we could fall off and land on the previous island. And the reason we're using Bow Kid, aside from the fact that that is the fastest way to go about it, is just because if we used Hack Kid, we'd have running through an issue trying to skip the cutscene. I don't know why, but it happens. It's some issue with co-op that once you start using it, you kind of have to use Bow Kid for them all, otherwise you can't skip it. I really don't, it makes no sense to me, but that's the only consistency I've seen with it. So here we are at the windmill. This is one of, if not the level casually. And hopefully it's not the longest level of this run. Although it might be if I keep doing that. So I sort of just jumped up there for no reason. I just could. Need to wait for that thing to get up here anyways. Did another TSJ. See, usually I try and rush the cycle here, and that's what makes me inconsistent, so I just decided to wait this one out. We hit a volume to warp us up here. I don't know how this one works, it just does. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, that's a thing. That's literally all I can tell you about it. It's just, I mean, it's not as cool as what we used to do, but still a pretty cool strat. So. Alright, this next level, current at the moment is the hardest level for me. Not because it's difficult, but because it involves tech that we only found recently, and I've practiced for 1 day. So we might get this first try, might not. I should get it first try, it's not too difficult. But if I say that, then it's not gonna happen. So as of right now, I'm just running around collecting these rift pawns so I can leave the first room as fast as I possibly can. Alright. So we're doing the same thing as we did in Lava Cake here. That was scary. Alright, so I'm just gonna let this speak for itself also because I need to focus to do this. So unfortunately that did not go exactly according to plan. However, I know what to do from here, so just gonna climb back up to where we were. Alright, we're back. Try this again. Like I said, this is new tech and I'm still figuring out exactly how it works. That's what I wanted. There we go. So that took a lot longer than I was hoping for, but like I said, that was only discovered fairly recently, and I was only able to practice it starting like yesterday. So. I mean, it's the best I could do. By the time, GDQ actually rolls around, I will have that, consistent. It just isn't at this moment. So this is the finale of Alpine, and it's actually the only finale that isn't a boss fight. I mean, I say it's not a boss fight, but we're still trying to destroy these flowers. I don't know why. The whole story of this chapter is a little confusing. Almost non-existent, honestly. So we're just going to be skipping all of these checkpoints because these are slow checkpoints. Alright, so I've been messing this up a lot, but let's see if I can just land on this fence. There we go. Okay. It's not even hard, I always mess it up. So here we're going to be doing one of the Bow Kid zipline strats things. This first one is the exact same as the first one that we did, but this next one is actually very difficult. When I first learned this, I considered this to be the hardest trick in the run. I've since then gotten better at it, I don't think it's that hard anymore. However, it is still like very easy to make mistakes on. So if you pay attention to Hackett's screen, the left side, you'll see exactly how close this is, and that's with no mistakes. If I'd made a small mistake somewhere, it was very easy for Hackett to finish that zipline, and I would be screwed. So we're gonna have a cutscene here, just like we saw in the windmill area. The problem is this one is gonna face us towards Hackett, and that is not where we want to face. So I just spammed my center mouse button, which makes the camera face away from, like makes you face the back of Bo-Kid's head. Yeah, okay. The camera gets all weird with some of these areas. Well, that was unfortunate. I missed a die boost earlier, so I wasn't on the same cycle that I was used to. So I got knocked into the air by one of these. I don't even know what these things are. And then I was in the center of one, so I got hit. You can ledge grab these things, by the way. I don't know why, and it bothers me every time that happens. So there's only 2 more levels left to do in Alpine. Then there's the 2 blue rifts. For some reason, none of the rifts show up in the telescope. Some bug. This version of the game is the first version after DLC 2 came out, so it was obvious there'd be some bugs. I just don't understand how things like that happen. Mostly because I'm not a game dev. Yeah, I'm sure if I did some work on this stuff, I could see how these mistakes could happen. I'm just ignorant, so I'm confused. That's all it really is. But this is my least favorite level in the game. Hopefully we don't find out why. It's looking pretty good. Alright, we made it. Alright, we're supposed to have Dweller to do this part, but Dweller is slow, so we're not going to. Dweller is the other hat that we're supposed to get throughout this run. It requires 12 yarn, which we don't have. Alright, and then one more level. Alright, we're gonna. This one's Curly Tail Trail. And I think this is the only rift in the run that has absolutely no cycle. I think there's 1 or 2 more that you can avoid the cycle. I think this one legit just doesn't have a cycle. This this rift is also the furthest rift away from where you spawn. I think the purple rift that we did in SUBCON was close to as far, but I think this one's further. So we're just doing the same movement to get to the horn, but instead we're trying to hit this rift. So we're going to do a momentum SDJ here, which is basically just an SDJ that you do off a small platform. We're going to jump up here, and we are done with the level. Easy as that. And with that, we're actually now completely done with ALPINE. So that is now 2 out of 7 worlds we have completely finished. And next up, we're heading over to Battle of the Birds. The angle to get down to hold for there is one of the harder ones for me to find. So this is Deadbird Studio. This entire chapter is basically just a rivalry between 2 film producers, DJ Grooves, that handsome penguin over there, and Conductor. We'll see him. That was him. That's him talking right here. Just can't exactly see him right now. Cool tech right here. We call these ice hat slingshots. Similar thing. Hit a volume off stage. Missed a dive boost, I'm sad. So like I said, here's DJ Grooves. He's one of the birds. He wants us to star in his film, but in order to do so, we need to be a penguin. I mean, technically, at least a bird. So we just got our bird passport right there. I am not a creative person, so instead of drawing something on my passport, I just let it be my face. And this guy right here is the Conductor. He's the other bird in the battle, or Battle of the Birds. And while that's nice and all, their little rivalry's fun, we're gonna take a quick break to get back to our own life with our BFF Mustache Girl. And she broke into our ship, and we're gonna help her steal her timepieces. It's not like we worked hard for these or anything. And this happens once you get 25 timepieces. This basically means you can go to the finale and you can finish like the 80% of the game. But that's not important. We're here to get all of the timepieces, not just some of the timepieces. So the rest of the levels for Battle of the Birds are going to be basically us starring in movies directed by either DJ Grooves or the Conductor. This is a Conductor movie. It's basically like a murder mystery. Hopefully we can skip all of it though. I've been failing this a lot recently. That's the easy way. There we go. If you go through a door during a forced teleport in co-op, then you actually just don't teleport. So I just did that to do a little sequence break instead of having to go all the way back and then answer a phone first, then come all the way back. We're just here right away. And I know it's gonna be hard to tell, but the game doesn't know what to do in this situation. There we go. And we're gonna be doing another sequence break here. You're supposed to go through like 4 different rooms, got like 3 different keys. Instead, we're just gonna jump up and hit this button. And again, the game knows exactly how to handle this. If I was playing as Hat Kid right now, you can see I just get teleported. That's why I'm playing as Bo Kid right now, because she doesn't. Grab that key. The cutscene's gonna play as soon as I walk out that door, so I'm gonna hit the button to start that cutscene, just to save the second or two of having them overlap. Gonna finish the level real quick. Walk in and walk out. Alright, we've been through this entire train. We found no evidence. It's time to determine who the murderer is. Obviously, it's the conductor. We're gonna skip all of this dialogue, just like the rest of this level. Oh yeah, it turns out the murder was faked, by the way. Like I said, the game knows exactly how to handle the sequence of events that we've performed. Knows exactly how to handle it. Alright, next up we're going to be doing Picture Perfect. This is going to be a DJ Grooves level. And fun fact about DJ Grooves levels, all of them take place on the moon. So there's actually like less gravity. You can see we're a little bit more floaty. We dive a little bit further. Which is cool and all, just it makes every time when you have to fall like this a little more annoying. So, right now we're just trying to become a diva. You know, running around taking pictures, saying hi to our fans. You know, the usual stuff. Right here we're trying to hit the... Nah, we didn't get it. We're trying to hit this dog with our potion. It's a little tricky to get. We're hoping to, if you get the last item, wasn't ready to match. Get the last item while your counter, your fan counter is still ticking up, then your fans are going to instantly shoot and you'll get the max diva right away. Unfortunately, we were a little slow. The ticker stopped moving because I missed the potion, and we had to wait for it to fill up. So what we're doing here, we're going to be doing a spaceship time rift. There's two of these in the spaceship, and Bulkhead won't be able to move while we're loading into the time rift, but she can interact with stuff, most notably telescopes like we just did. And by just interacting with that telescope once, all the animations, all the level clears, all the time rift spawns, they all are finished. Next time we enter that telescope, we don't have to watch anything. And while they are fast, they are much faster than they were in like 1.0. It's still nice to have that skipped. So, yeah. This is a gallery, it's a simple time rift. Alright, we're doing our... I always forget not to hold click to speed up the telescope animations because there are none, even if I just said it. So this is the last conductor movie we're going to be doing. In this, conductor just calls us. He says, "Yo, there's a bomb on the train. Help me." So we're going to try and defuse a bomb. How hard can it be, right? I'm sure we'll have no problem doing this. This is actually one of my worst levels. Not because there's anything hard in it, it's just overall a lot of precise movement, which is not my specialty. Especially because I play on keyboard, and the biggest advantage of keyboard is your camera control, and your camera is locked pretty much the entirety of this level. You know, a small points here or there where you can. Like, I have small control, but I can't really do as much as I would like. So, the plan wasn't to fall there, but I mean, whatever. So we were supposed to hit a lot more buttons there, to, you know, spawn more buttons to lower that gate. But I don't want to hit buttons. I just want to get this timepiece. The sooner the better, right? Alright, so this next timer that we're going to be doing is probably the most cycle heavy one. It's kind of, yeah, I figured that's going to happen. It's kind of difficult to get a good time here just because everything is it's on a cycle until the very end, where it's a very simple movement. So first you have this spinning thing right here, that's technically a cycle. Yeah, these spinning things. And you have to hit these 4 buttons, all of which are on, you know, they're on rotating. I missed! Okay, we're good. And here's the main reason this level is on such a big cycle. This cog right here. As long as you land on this thing, you're on the fastest cycle. And it can take a long time to get used to be able to get it consistently. But once you get it, it's pretty easy to replicate. It's very easy to get similar times multiple times in a row. So this is, I'm pretty sure this is a fan favorite among runners. I mean, pretty sure everyone loves 4-minute auto-scrollers, right? Does sound like fun. Also sounds like a good time to read donations, because there's like nothing going on this level.
Get ready. Go.
All we're basically doing is moving so we don't get hit by the band behind us and collecting pawns. Once the timer in the bottom right is complete, like the blue circle goes completely around, we're gonna do a small objective, wait for it to fill up again, do a second objective, wait for it to fill up again, and then finally grab the timepiece. It's a pretty slow level, pretty boring. There's small things you can do to speed up the parts where you're actually doing stuff, but until you're, you know, at that point. I don't think this level is 1 to 90%. Alright, so here's one of the objectives. We have to hit these 3 switches. Not really anything fancy to do here. Just hit each 3, then we're done. Oops. Some more. Oops. there's nothing really to do here, so I'm just gonna practice my ice hat slingshots. They're pretty fun to do. I didn't want to get hit there. That's fine, I can get it off part. Alright, so we're actually going to set up another stuck warp. That's the thing we did in heating up, where we sort of just teleported across the map. We're setting it up on the telephone pole right there. I actually think I just changed it to that telephone pole, but we'll see. Maybe I didn't. Gonna hit this button right here. And we're gonna get stuck under here. Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen. That's fine, we're not too far off where we want to be. Alright, a little bit more waiting. I'm funny story, this is actually the same, what's it called? Map as, Picture Perfect. Help. Because this is the same map as Picture Perfect, there's a pawn right there. I just got a little more stuck than I was anticipating. And here's the time piece spawn, and we're done with the level. A little bit over 4 minutes. Got a quick rift to do. This is another one of those rifts that's not entirely cycle based, but I mean there are still, you know, things you can do. Like there is a cycle, it's just we avoid it. By the way, those owls are going through the floor and it bothers me so much. Just do that SDJ there so we can skip hitting some buttons. If you jump on top of that platform as it's rising, you get a lot of height. TSJ up here. You can make that with TSJ, I'm just not good at it, so I'm not going to do it. And grab the timepiece. We are done. Alright, cool. So, as you saw, after we finished each level, we got a certain amount of points towards one bird or the other. And whoever has the most points at the end wins the award ceremony. That's what this level is. But it doesn't really matter who wins. If Conductor wins, it's a half a second faster. But I mean, it's a half second in a 2-hour run. No one's gonna notice. We used to have quick kills that only worked on one or the other, but we found strats that work for both, so we really don't care anymore. So, I don't know why, but this just, in this run, it's just one of my favorite levels to play. It just feels so nice. Yeah, if you don't bonk into a wall, that would be ideal. This elevator ride used to be like 50 seconds long, 40-50 seconds, but as you can see, it's a tiny bit shorter now. Get up here, climb up. Doing this gives this entire room, and it's a pretty big room. It would take a while to do otherwise. Now, this room, I'm actually not sure how big it is, honestly. It's been so long since I've done it casually, I forget how you do it. All I know is that it's complicated, and this is way faster. You're supposed to, run through that room, hit a bunch of buttons to open that door. However, it's barely thin enough so you can bucket clip through it. Alright, do all of that, and we are now at the boss fight for Chapter 2. You fight whoever wins the award ceremony. So I had Conductor win, so I'm going to fight him. If DJ Gears won, you could fight him exactly the same way I'm about to. So, goal right now is to just go through phase 1 as fast as possible. Cool, there's phase 1. So we're gonna try and hit him on his way down on this attack. Missed. Time for that's a little difficult. So we're trying to do a quick kill. It's a little complicated how it works, so I'm not going to explain it. But basically, we're just trying to cause some lag. And because I care about my... Okay, we're good. So, I have a couple of seconds, so I can explain it now. We wanted him to use a specific attack. However, it wasn't guaranteed he was going to use that the attack we wanted him to. And if he used the other attack, it actually would have soft locked. We would have had to go back to hub and retry the level. Well, that was an option. That wasn't guaranteed to be the other result, but that was an option for what could have happened. So, I mean, I found a way to make it guaranteed that you can have a couple tries before it has a chance to even soft lock. But even then, it's a bit risky. So I'm happy that went that well. Alright, we have one more level to do in Battle of the Birds, and then we're done here. I'm going to be happy to leave. There is no good way to go around that yarn. That is the only yarn we're going to collect that we're not going to put into a hat. It kind of bothers me that we collect in the first place. But this is the purple rift for DBS. For Battle of Birds, Deborah Studio Rift. And this one actually has a skip a lot like Alpine, except this one's a lot easier. So I'm probably going to mess it up too. Oh, come on. Why do shots become so much easier the second time around? So we're just going through this level. At this point, this is normal. And this is the last room. We actually only skipped one room here. However, the room we skip is just, it's terrible. I hate the room we skip is awful. So I'm happy that we just do this instead. Alright, and when we first entered here, we saw the cutscene with Mustache Girl. And I think it's about time that we gave her a talk. Taking this gate down is pretty slow, so we're just gonna TSJ over it. And hopefully that's not slower. I'm pretty sure it's kind of slower at this point. Alright, there we go. The hard part of that is just getting the TSJ for me at this point. Alright, so that lock meant that the game wants us to have items that we don't have in order to beat this level. So we're gonna have to, you know, find creative ways around what we don't have. Because unfortunately the item that we don't have is almost 100% required. It's just that almost that lets us not need it. About halfway through the level is going to be a giant dweller wall. And you guessed it, you'll need dweller mass to get past it. However, we found a way around that. It's nothing too fancy. It's honestly just a poke clip. But I don't. For some reason, this one's difficult for me. Might just be lack of experience. But hopefully, it works out well. Trying to play this safe. Finale is one of those levels that I really need to practice more. Alright, so this dweller wall is actually coming up. I'm doing FTJ to avoid needing a dweller right here. And here's the dweller wall. Not where I want. Like I said, for some reason I find this one really finicky. Just go through the wall. There we go. So that shouldn't have taken as long as it did, but it did. To STJ to over here. So the rest of finale should go fairly smoothly. Unfortunately, I spent a lot of time trying to get through that dweller wall. That was about 50, for me that was about 50 seconds. So this is the Mustache Girl fight. So this fight it's an awkward fight. First off, it absolutely kills bit rate. It's difficult to watch on stream just because I mean, you'll see. It's this. But on top of that, just like the way Mustache Girl works isn't always consistent. you know, there's a lot of RNG to this fight. It's annoying as hell sometimes. I'm also really bad at aiming. Boss fights have never been my specialty, hence why I play a platformer, not Dark Souls. Unfortunately, can't exactly avoid them sometimes. So, I do my best. So this phase with most of the RNG, we're going to be throwing cherries at her to break the shield. And it's completely random when we're going to need a second cherry, third cherry, fourth cherry. Sometimes she gets stuck in the floor. Sometimes she just disappears completely. And even if, you know, the fight... Oh, hey, look, she's in the floor. And she's back in her shield. So, like, even when everything works perfectly, you can still have bad RNG just because she doesn't want to cooperate and use attacks that are easy to hit. So, this is actually pretty good right now, with the exception of this attack. Yeah, hey, look. Oh, I thought she was in the floor for a second. So that last one was actually pretty good, but it's usually not that nice. So we're going to the final phase of the fight. We're almost done. Here, everyone's destroying themselves so we can get some more hard pawns. This way we have infinite HP. Which is good, that means I'm not going to die, because boss fights are hard. And basically we're going to be fishing for double hits. It can only work on attacks where she does the shockwave attack, that one. Yeah, I'll hit her. Cool. And it's entirely what's the word I'm looking for? Cyclical, the way she does her attack. So if you can just follow her pattern, you can always get what she's gonna do next. So I just kept on doing that, and I hit her enough times and I beat her. So this is where most runs end. With this timepiece grab. However, this category is going to keep on going. We still have 20 more timepieces to get. The reason we do finale now instead of later on is because the final level of this run is going to be a time rift called Tour, and the requirements to unlock this level is to have 55 timepieces, which is every single other one including finale. So we're going to have to do this one earlier at some point. And the specific reason we do it here is just because, well, one, it has pawns, so we want to do it at some point early enough in the run. And two, well, 1 second, let me just really quickly not give Mustache the timepiece because she was mean to me. Anyways, so, because we have to do finale, right now the timer is paused. The only way to have it resume is to go back to main menu after this cutscene is over. And when we go back to main menu and reload the file, we're actually going to get an additional item depending on how many timepieces we have. And if you have, I believe the number is 35 or more timepieces, you will actually get the Dweller Mask. So we routed it just like this, so that we would get the Dweller Mask after we did finale instead of needing to get the 12 yarn for it. And the reason we had to go to main menu at the very beginning of this run is because whenever you go to main menu on this patch, the first time on a file, and the timer resets. So we just had to do it there to get the reset out of the way, so that when we loaded back in, the timer would continue to read, in this case an hour 19:33.75. So, there's no actual gameplay going on. This text matching is the most you have to do for like 2 minutes. Alright, so I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier or not, but in this run, we actually don't get enough pawns. We have to pawn farm for a bit, and that's actually the next thing we're going to be doing. There's not really a more opportune time, so we're just gonna go over to Mafia Town and get some pawns. Gonna reload our file. Alright, our timer is good. Heading off to Mafia Town. We do this now instead of at the beginning of the run for two reasons. One, and honestly most importantly, magnet. And two, because you know, it's not entirely consistent how many pawns you're gonna get. This way it's more accurate. So we're taking mostly the same route that we took during our battle. We're just gonna end it a little bit differently. We're looking to have about like 530 pawns, and we have a good amount, so we shouldn't have to do too much pawn farming. We're actually just gonna break this. Alright, we have enough. I'm not worried about being -1 pawn. And we end right at a rift, so might as well do it, right? Get an additional timepiece while we're here. This rift's fairly simple. There's not really a whole lot to it. You get a pretty big die boost right here. And then there's just getting the timepiece at the end because it's, you know, spinning. Aside from that, there's really nothing unique about this rift. And I wish we could do more, but that's all we're going to be doing of Mafia Town. For this trip, we're going to come back here one last time at the very end of the run. For now, we're going to start going into our DLC chapters. This right here is the DLC 1, Arctic Cruise. People actually didn't like this that much. I had a lot of fun with this chapter personally, which is why I started running this. And this level itself is one of, if not my favorite level in the game. I tried to TSJ, but I messed it up completely. There we go. And I think that used to be my most consistent TSJ in the game. So right now we're just climbing up, we're trying to reach, you know, the boat. But going through the entire boat, I mean, it's a big boat, we want to go to the bottom. It's pretty far. So instead of doing that, we're trying to do this. There's supposed to be an invisible wall stopping you from doing that. However, hookshots take you through any type of walls, so we sort of just do that. The only is that we skipped going through some checkpoints, and that means that the ship isn't actually fully loaded. So there's a lot of water in places that water shouldn't be, which means we won't be able to get some of the things we need to beat this level. So as soon as we do that, the ship's all ready to go. So holding at this level is just collecting timepiece shards. We get 11 of them, and we can get our timepiece. So there's a lot of pawns right there, so I like grabbing them all. I don't know if they're worth it, but I like grabbing them. another relic right there. A little bit of sloppy movement right now, unfortunately. These levels are all fairly unoptimized. Just like I said, a lot of people didn't like them, so not a lot of people ran them. Got those. Now we're almost done with the level. This level, but the whole theme of this chapter actually is carryable like tasks. For example, the seal. You'll see it a lot more prominently in the next two levels, but this level it's not really all that prominent. Might be why I like this one more than the other two. So this next level is all RNG. Almost every aspect of this level is RNG. The only thing that really isn't, I mean, a couple things are consistent, but not a whole lot. What we have to do is go around the ship, collect tasks, deliver said tasks, until we have done that 18 times. What tasks spawn and where? Complete RNG. So, the only consistency is very small things. Basically, just the number and where a certain task will go. So, like any task that spawns where Half Kid is right now will always go into the room I'm in now. So, like if I see it, if I know where a task spawns, I almost guarantee you I know where that task goes, which just makes routing this a bit easier. It's still RNG, you know what actually spawns. Actually. So this is one of those levels I really have to focus on just because, one, I'm not good in general at it, and two, it's not like it's something I can just do muscle memory. That's actually really good. That was really good RNG. I mean, that wasn't IO record RNG, but that actually, this is a gold. Yeah, that was like a 5-second gold, I think. That was really good. So that can go way worse. Like, catastrophically way worse. Just by, you know, a couple tasks saying, nah, I'm gonna spawn worst possible spot. Like I had an attempt earlier trying to record this submission where the game crashed on me. And in that attempt, I got a 4, no, I didn't even get sub 4. I had like a 5-10, and there wasn't a whole lot I could do differently. That's just the kind of level that one is. Alright, so this level, basically, we crashed a ship. It's no way to sugarcoat it. We got on the wheel and we just crashed. I don't know how I stood there. So we're like, we crashed the ship. We may as well take responsibility for it and, you know, rescue all the passengers. So that's what we're gonna be doing. Alright, well, that sucked. I got on the wrong side of this shingle. I wanted to be here, so I got on the other side, and it was just awkward. But we're here now. That's all that matters. We used to have a way to skip this first section, so I'm, without a doubt, inexperienced in it. But it's just also awkward because when you're carrying a bunch of objects or tasks, you become wobbly, so it's hard to go in a straight line. And that can happen. Because it's so hard to move.
It's all going down, pup. Never thought I'd see the day.
So we're just gonna do that again.
Remaining voyage, too. Won't take more than a few minutes for all this to hit the sea floor. Well, you might want to get to a lifeboat, pup. That'd be smart.
So that usually doesn't happen to me. But I don't know if that's just been an experience for me not having done this a lot, or just the wobbling mechanics of carrying lots of items being not good. But it just seems to be very difficult for me to control recently. So we're gonna do this the safe way. Then we still take the damage anyways. Alright, well, that's what we wanted to do. You know, maybe not take 7 damage doing it, but what happened there is there's a volume that for whatever reason warps you back to your last location. I'm gonna grab that heart there. So that's the only time we're going to be holding that many objects. The rest of this should go smoothly.
Whoa, you're like pretty strong, huh?
That was almost awkward.
Where are you going? You want to save him? I'm not gonna hang around a sinking ship. If you don't make it back quick, we'll leave without you.
So right here, we're going to be doing a out of bounds. It's nothing too complicated. We're just going to sort of walk or slide, and we're out of bounds. Just have to be careful not to take too much damage. Alright, we're good. We hit this and it warps us back in bounds. Try and grab some hearts here. You can actually pick tasks up with. It's a little awkward to do at times, so I try not to. But this case, it actually lets us skip a cutscene, so it's easily worth it to do. We're gonna drop off the captain, and we're good. So ignoring the disaster that was the first phase, this actually didn't go too bad. I'd be happy with that if I hadn't died in the first phase. Like, after that death, even like the first phase after the death went well. Alright, so this rift is very difficult for me, for most people, just because this is like the only time you really have to control both controllers like right next to each other pretty much. So I'm just gonna have a quick I don't know what just happened. I did my dive boost to the left and I just walked off the edge. Yeah, that was an unfortunate series of events. Let's just try and not do that again. There we go, that's what I wanted to do the first time. Not hard. So, basically the strats, we're just gonna jump off Bokit's head to get enough height to get up here. And it can be a little finicky. Especially when I can't land on Bokit's head. But when I do, it works out well. I'm not doing that. So we're actually going to skip this entire section too as well. If that was proper English. And just do that. We used to do another Bokit bounce. Like to do the same thing we just did. But, I mean, we found that. We're pretty sure that's faster. At the very least, that's more consistent. So, that's the shot we do now. And now we're going to be doing the Purple Rift for Arctic Cruise. Which is my least favorite Purple Rift. It's not that this level's bad. It's actually a very beautiful level. It's just, there's so much empty, like, non-used space. It's just, everything's so far away. It's just so annoying to play, in my opinion. Like I said, it looks gorgeous. You know, it's very visually pleasing. The music's actually pretty good too. It's just, I am not facing the right direction. Could have sworn I landed on that squid's head. Guess I didn't. Oh well. So this rift's actually so vast that it actually has its own bulkhead strats. There's only 2 purple rifts that have bulkhead strats, and one of them is just so you can do it out of bounds, pretty much. Going on, getting this. So we're gonna be getting every rift pawn in pretty much every room, just so we can not get any in the last room. I mean, it's possible that the last room ones are fast. It's the problem with the last room. It's just that it's hard. It's very long. Getting a single pawn there takes quite a while. And if you die at, like, if your health hits 0 in purple rifts, you don't just restart that floor. You have to restart the entire rift. So I don't want to, you know, deal with difficult platforming at the very end of a long level. I'm kind of surprised he got that die boost. There's a chest in that ship with a rift pawn, so we're just going to sort of collect it from outside the ship. He was going to try and hit me. Alright, and that's pretty much the level. That is the last level in Cruise. All we gotta do now is the only full chapter left is Metro, which is the DLC 2 chapter. Walked a little bit too far before I use that. Alright, so this is a word I cannot pronounce because I am bad at English. Metro. And this is the chapter that released fairly and I don't know, not really recently anymore. Released in May. But this is the most recent DLC for this game. And it's actually really fast. It introduces 10 levels and will be done in about 15 minutes. Hopefully 15 minutes. So if you remember Twilight Bell, we're gonna be doing that again. So yeah, I mean that's basically gonna be the theme of this entire world. Just gonna find a wall, and we're gonna scale it. About half the levels take place what am I trying to say? take place in what's called manholes, which is basically just a volume outside of the map. So some of them we can reach from out of bounds, some of them we will reach from out of bounds, some of them we can't. I'll explain more about what we're doing each time as we go about it. So if you notice that each time I'm jumping with BowKid before I do this, that's just because if I don't, I won't be able to do a double jump off the wall. I don't know why that's a thing, it just is. My controller fell over. I have my controller on my leg, so when I just stopped what I was doing with my controller, it just sort of leaned on my leg and was holding forward. Well, it was a bit sloppy, but it worked. Alright, so here we're going to be doing an out of bounds. It's actually the first one we'll be doing. It's called a boop clip. I was afraid that wasn't going to work. And it's the same thing we do to interrupt our animations. So why it works, I'm not 100% sure. All I know is that it does. And we're just going to do the exact same thing to get back in bounds. This is exactly where the manhole timepiece is. Alright, I think that's enough. We got more. Gonna be doing the exact same thing. Gonna be boop clipping one more time. That's a little confusing, but okay. This clip is still a little new, at least to me, so I don't know why I got teleported right there. Damn it. Well, that was a little sloppier than I wanted, but I mean, that's the backup in case you mess up your boop like I did. So now we're gonna actually be doing a level the intended way. Hard to believe, I know. This one we can't find a way through. I don't know what I bonked on. Yeah, the only thing we're not doing legit is getting there. But I mean, we're entering the manhole legit. That's how you'd enter the other two levels we just did. And yeah. Did the other two. It's just because we don't have a way to reach this one. This manhole's a bit further away than all the other ones were. Unfortunately. And then the timepiece is right there. We tried a bunch of different ways to get into it, but right, even if you can get into it, you can't move, and I think the timepiece just isn't real. So we're sort of just stuck. You know, just doing this. It's not that I have a problem with this, you know, high-speed train action, you know, always fun. It's just, we've broken every other level in this chapter. This is the one that's left. So we're almost there. Oh, I missed one, but that's no big deal. There's one extra anyways. Alright, and we just, by what a coincidence, we're right by the timepiece. Who would have guessed? So that one is without a doubt the longest level in Metro.
7.
So this next one is not actually an out of bounds. We're just going to be avoiding a volume pretty much. There's supposed to be a volume right there that's supposed to prevent that from being possible. However, the volume doesn't go completely low enough. So if you slide off like I did, you actually avoid it completely. And you can just go ahead and do this level. Which is good because we sort of don't have any of the Metro passes we're supposed to be having at this point. Unfortunate. Bad train cycle. Alright, so this wasn't too bad, honestly. Alright, so that's all of the main acts for Metro. All that's left now is the finale and the one rift. So believe it or not, if you've played this finale, you'll know it's slow effect, and speedrunners don't like slow. We like fast. So we found a way to get there out of bounds, and it's fast. I didn't think I was gonna land on the ledge. Alright, welcome to the end of Rush Hour. I'm just doing bouquet bounce here because it's easier than any other strat, and it's also faster than doing it casually. Alright, we're almost done. Well, I mean with the level, I mean. Yeah, that's not good. My controller fell. It's all fine. We're good. Did that backwards. This is just the relic for the Metro Purple Rift. And we actually have one more spaceship for it to do, so I'm just gonna spawn co-op again. Get over here. And do this little trick again, so we can skip all these telescope animations. My camera didn't move. I tried to move my camera so I could just go forward. It didn't work, unfortunately. See, this is what I wanted to do. Just move my camera ever so slightly. Alright, up next, we have Ruby Factory. This level is also actually really fun. I really do enjoy this level. The only problem is that this level doesn't have an IL timer like every other one has. For whatever reason, that makes it so that auto splitter doesn't work with it. So I have to remember to manually split this level, and I don't always do that. So, one of the things I like the most about, especially this room in particular, is the conveyor belts. Just how much momentum they give you. Just a nice mechanic that you haven't seen anywhere else in this game. As far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure they don't have anything like that based in the rest of the game. So yeah, that's actually a cycle right there. However, it's so easy to make that I'm always waiting for it. I think there's a faster route that's actually really difficult to make. However, it's really difficult to make and I don't want to. And this one, if it's either like same speed or like 2 seconds slower, and I can actually do this one. Alright. If everything goes well, I shouldn't need hook shot for the rest of the run. I actually should already be good on bombs. I have one more purple rift to get another like 30-ish bombs from. I don't know if I'm going to even need that much. And split. And we're done with Metro. All that's left is to finish up Mafia Town and to do tour. Our run's almost over. Alright. I do love that entrance. So this purple rift is, in the end, pretty simple. I mean, it's for chapter 1, so it makes sense that's the simplest. For this one, it actually is fastest. You just grab one, just enough in each room. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Grabbing just enough in each room. We're actually going to be grabbing them all from this room. This room just happens to have just enough. Going to be abusing the fact that we have a magnet. Abusing the fact that I am bad at the game. There we go. You don't need to get the die boost into that. I just really like it. And I think it's fast. Last level of Mafia Town. So to do this level, you're supposed to have time stop hack, which we don't have. That's 32 yarn. That's a lot of yarn. And you can also beat this level just by following the path that they tell you to take without it. Time stop is still possible to make. However, that's kind of boring. So instead, we're gonna actually cheat. Just,
Get ready.
start the race at the end of it. I don't see a problem with this. Looks like a fair race to me, honestly. I mean, he's on a rocket. I start at the end. It makes sense. Alright, we're at the final level now. I was trying to go up into the tunnel, but I got messed up by the conveyor belt elevator thing. Alright, welcome to the last level of the game. I really like the theme of this level, actually. Each floor is like a little homage to each of the main chapters of the game. So here we have the little Mafia Town area. Here we have like a heating up area from heating up Mafia Town. Is our Battle of the Birds area, and this is actually a broken area because can jump on this. Lets us get over here, and from here we can actually do a little shortcut bokeh that we need to use all run. It's a different type of bokeh bounce from a wall climb, and by doing that we can get out of bounds. Yeah, we're just gonna stay on this beam, which sort of just goes out forever. While we're taking that ice platform, get a little movement. So this new section we're in is the Alpine Skyline section. We had skipped over SUBCON, which is why it's fast. I messed that up. And now we're at finale. Sorry, I'm just focused, that's why I'm like a little bit delayed. Here we are. Back on the spaceship. And time. Hey, 2:47 flat. And that is the run. So I just wanted to say one more time, this one is, you know, difficult. I couldn't do a great commentary the entire time, but you know, I really do think this is a great run. You know, it's fun to watch. I mean, lots of interesting different strats that you don't see in any other category of the game. No matter how else you play it, there's just, these strats just don't exist elsewhere for whatever reason or another. So thank you for considering. Goodbye.